For the foundation workout, there are 4 main exercises we're going to go through. So you're going to start with a bird dog, which is a great core activation, get some great cross-core stabilization, followed by a squat or a goblet squat, and then followed by a TRX row using our suspension trainers, and then finishing off with a push-up. You're going to run through those 4 exercises 5 times each, so go 1 time through each exercise, 10 to 12 reps, working at about 70% intensity. We don't want you getting overly sore from this workout. And then continuing 5 rounds through. If you get through that quickly, the coach will have additional work for you to do. Just let them know, and they'll be explaining this when you see them in the class as well. The bird dog is one of our favorite core exercises. It does a really good job of making sure that we've got cross-core activation, that we have the ability to stabilize our pelvis and our spine. For the bird dog, you are going to start on the ground, all 4s. Knees are relatively wide, hands are at hip width or shoulder width. And from a side view, it will look like this. So toes are pulled under, hands are down under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. While doing the bird dog, we want to make sure that we are starting with a regressed version, so basically an easier version, nailing the stability through the spine with that, and then once we've got that down, then we progress to the foot elevated version. Most people with bird dogs will start with the foot elevated. They get all kinds of movement, hips shifting sideways, a bunch of different indicators that the core is not firing properly. To start off, we want to slowly extend the foot backwards, reach the arm forward, and make sure we're maintaining that stability of the spine, that we're not having that hip drop, shift to the side, anything like that. So you might only be able to go this far to begin, and that's more than enough if you're feeling the core activation. Switching to the opposite side, and you're alternating reps. If you can do that without trouble, then we're going to go to a little bit longer version, extending the foot all the way out, but still keeping the toe down, and switching sides, making sure you're maintaining that stability across the core. If that's still doable and you can still do more, keep that core active, extend the foot, reaching forward and back, maintaining that stability, and switching sides back and forth. Now, as you do this, we want to make sure that we don't have that hip shift. This is not an effective bird dog. When the hip is shifting sideways like that, we want to make sure that we are maintaining that rigid position through the core. Absolutely zero movement. If I put a ball on your back, it should stay exactly where it is. For the squat, we are going to start with a squat to the bench. So we're going to start seated on the bench, making sure we've got good position through the spine, so we're not excessively arched, we're not excessively rounded. We're leaning forward, driving through the heels, pushing up in our squat. Inhale down, option to have the hands out front. Exhale, drive up. Whatever position for the hands is most comfortable is good. If you'd like, you can add a weight, holding it up here in goblet position. Inhale down, exhale, drive up. With the squat, we want to make sure that we are not rounding on the way down. So as I go down, I don't want to see the back rounding, or excessively arching, especially at the top. A lot of people will excessively arch. We want to keep that core engaged, ribs down. From the front view, the other thing we want to watch for with our squat is making sure that we are at 1.5 times hip width or so. Feet can be 5 to 15 degrees angle. We're inhaling down, exhaling, squeezing, pressing up. Test a few different widths, see what feels best for you. For many people, they'll find the optimal position is somewhere around that 1.5 times hip width and 5 to 15 degrees. And then you may notice your knees drift in. If so, make an active engagement as if you're trying to spread the floor apart with your toes, 3 points of contact, big toe, outside of the foot, and heel. Inhale down, exhale, create that traction or that rotation, and press back up. Inhale down, exhale up, maintaining that position through the spine. Inhaling down, exhaling up, only going as far as where you can maintain that core position, that you don't fall into that pelvis tuck. For the inverted row, we have a couple of key fundamentals, and the first thing is that we want to maintain a plank position through the core, and then initiate engaging the lats, rotating and pulling back with the shoulders, ending in this 90-degree position, not overextending, falling into that desk posture where everybody sits all day. We want those shoulders back and down, and then relax, come forward. So in the actual row, We let ourselves come down, starting at a relatively easy difficulty. Pull those shoulders together, maintain that plank through the core, so not letting the hips drop, not overextending, and pull up to that top position at that 90 degrees, again, not pulling into that rounded position. So a full proper rep looks like this, and back down. Inhale on the way down, exhale, squeeze, drive up. From the back, looks like this. Inhale down, exhale, squeeze, pull up. Repeating, and then if needed, making it more difficult by bringing the feet down, making sure that that head's not pushing forward, that the neck stays relaxed. Squeeze and pull up.
Okay, so as you can see in the video here, I'm taking a regular bed sheet. This one happens to be a double bed sheet. You can do it with a single, or I'm sure you could use a queen or a king, or I think this might be a queen sheet. I'm tying a knot in one end, relatively close to the end, so it gives you lots of slack on the other side so that you can make sure that you've got enough variation in difficulty. The longer it is, the more difficult you can make it. And then I'm tucking it up over the door, trying to get it about in the center with that knot, and then spreading it out so that the door will actually close. Depending on how your door is set up, you may have more or less space there. As long as the knot is big enough and you're able to close the door, and that's all we need. And you can see I'm on the opening side of the door, not where the door pulls into, so that we make sure that we're pulling against the door jamb, not just relying on the latch to prevent us from falling. I gave it a couple of yanks to make sure it was strong, and then now you can see I'm doing my rows, holding on to the sheet, and this is a great way to do a row without needing a piece of equipment. And you can see I've got this overhand grip, and that's it.
For the push-up, we have a few different variations, basically progressing in difficulty. The fundamentals for all four remain the same. So in our push-up, we want to be hands at about chest height, out to the side, squeezing and pressing up. So as we come down, those shoulder blades come together, chest expands, lats are engaged for stability, so those muscles in the back under your armpit. Come down, squeeze, press up, maintaining a plank position through the core. Our first variation is knees on the mat, hands on the bench. Inhaling down, exhaling, squeezing, pressing up. Watching out for those elbows flaring or rounding up as you come down. Make sure those shoulders stay back and down. Inhale down, squeeze, press up. The other thing to watch for is the head jutting forward. A lot of people will have that happen, or the back sagging down. We want to maintain that neutral spine position. Inhale down, exhale, squeeze, press up. If you can accomplish that with good, perfect form, then we'll move to toes. Inhale down, exhale, squeeze, press up. If that's still doable, we can then switch to from the floor. Inhale down, exhale, squeeze, press up. As you progress through these variations, making sure those elbows aren't flaring, that back's not sagging. And then if that's still too easy, you can move to feet on the bench. Inhale down, exhale, squeeze, press up.